First and foremost, you're on the Isle of Man. Welcome to to deliver a series of seminars to South African expats. Tell us a bit about why and what might be of interest to them.
Okay, thanks for the welcome, and it's good to be here. It's my second time this year, and this time it's sunny, so which is great. South Africa basically is going through some very fundamental changes in the way it taxes South African expatriate workers. So in short, anybody who is South African and earning money abroad is going to get a little bit of a shock come March next year because they're going to start to be taxed on their worldwide earnings.
So are people going to see a significantly increased level of personal income tax? Is that in short?
To an extent, what they've done is they've abolished the 183-day, 60-day rule, which most expats used to rely on not to pay tax in South Africa. So the little bit of good news is they're going to exempt the first 1 million rand of earnings each year. However, a lot of people are still going to get caught in the trap, even if they're earning under the 1 million, simply because they're not really complying with the tax legislation. So a lot of South Africans, unfortunately, have sort of got on an aeroplane, left South Africa, and sort of left SARS behind and never did anything about it, or they filed nil returns, things like this. Part of why SARS is doing this is to get South Africans to tidy up their tax affairs. So a lot of the time it's just remedial work. There's a lot of scary stuff in the newspapers and on social media. Sadly, a lot of misinformation, hence we're coming over to do the seminars. But it's something South Africans do need to put right before 28th of February next year, or problems could arise.
Does this apply to people who've moved away recently or sort of more longer in the past as well?
That's the scary thing, is a lot of people think that they've been gone 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, they don't have a bank account in South Africa, etc. It absolutely makes no difference whatsoever. Even if they are passport holders over here on the island now, they're still affected. They still need to make sure the tax affairs are in order. So it's a very wide net, very similar to the American system of wherever you are in the world, we're going to find you.
And what are the sorts of repercussions for people if they aren't complying with these changes?
Penalties and fines will be the most common, although about 4 years ago what SARS did do in preparation for this, I'm pretty sure in preparation for this, is they also made it a criminal offence to complete a tax return incorrectly or not to complete one. So, I mean, ultimately, whether they do it or not, it could result in a criminal record, which could get quite scary if you're renewing work visas and the such like.
I don't have any indication of numbers to hand, but you obviously feel there's reason to believe there's a significant amount of people on the Isle of Man that could be affected by these changes.
Yeah, so numbers I've been told is anywhere between 5,500 and 8,000 South Africans are on the Isle of Man. So I think a lot of attention, and us as well, was placed on UAE, Dubai, etc., where there's a lot of South Africans too. But speaking to some colleagues on the Isle of Man, it became apparent that actually there's a lot of South Africans here that really do need some advice and are not really getting it. And the advice that they are getting is not the correct advice.